Welcome to the Deep Dive Investigation. Tonight we peel back the layers of global commerce to reveal the price you never see. Late night, an ad appears on your phone screen, an ad optimized to hit your exact needs. The brand system predicts your desires and triggers the purchase decision. One tap, instant satisfaction, and you forget the consequences. $180 disappears, but the real cost runs much deeper. That digital click is actually the beginning of a massive cost you never see on the invoice, hidden deep within the system. Sustainability messages obscure the production reality. In 2026, the system is more sophisticated at hiding the human costs. Today, the hidden numbers behind the famous logo. We need to understand why your brain is biologically programmed to let them get away with it, despite knowing the uncomfortable truth. The marketing machine works tirelessly to ensure you see the innovation, while carefully obscuring the architecture of denial that supports it. Each product reflects an unfair economic structure. From the gleaming headquarters in Oregon to the humid factories of Southeast Asia, we will trace the journey of your money. This is not just a story about shoes. This is a story about how the global economy uses your psychology against you. The 90s scandals laid the foundation for the current strategy. Child labor scandals, 16-hour shifts, and the sweatshop label nearly destroyed the brand's reputation and alienated their core customer base. The lesson? Perfect the image instead of changing the structure. Today, Nike operates like a cloud company, detached from direct production. They own very few factories. Legal responsibility is layered. By outsourcing 99% of production, Nike does not just outsource labor, they effectively outsource their legal and moral accountability. Contract delegation creates a legal firewall that shields responsibility. They point the finger at third-party contractors while keeping production costs at rock bottom. This model maximizes profit and minimizes responsibility. The sophisticated logistics system conceals the production reality. The distance between brand and maker creates an ethical dead zone. On one side, we have global fashion weeks and celebrity endorsements. On the other, survival on a few dollars a day. The money flows upward in a torrent, while the responsibility trickles down until it evaporates completely before reaching the factory floor. They keep the intellectual property and image while transferring the risk downstream. Contracts are written in a language that protects the buyer. The supplier takes the risk, and the worker pays the price. The product arrives pristine, smells of new rubber and glue, carries no trace of the sweat that made it. But the ghost in the machine is real, and the system relies on you not asking too many questions about the source. We all participate in this. The unboxing experience is designed to be a ritual that washes away any lingering guilt. Now that we understand the structure, we must look inward. Why do we keep buying when we know the supply chain is broken? Here's a hard truth. It's called moral decoupling. Psychologists have found a fascinating mechanism inside the human mind. When a brand becomes part of our identity, when the shoes represent winning or status, our brains turn off the ethical center. You are not just buying a shoe, you are buying a version of yourself that is faster, cooler, and significantly better. Nike is the world champion of this psychological game, creating a reality where the athlete's glory blinds you to the worker's struggle. In 2026, their Algo-Shield is terrifyingly effective, filtering out the bad news and amplifying the aspirational content. Your feed is flooded with sustainability influencers and recycled material badges, creating a psychological safety net for your conscience. It gives you moral licensing. Because the shoe is made of recycled polyester, your brain tells you it is okay to ignore the rest. You feel like you have done your part for the planet, trading your empathy for a green badge and a cool sneaker. The hidden cost is your own empathy. The system is designed to make you feel like a hero for consuming more products. This biological loop is hard to break. The dopamine hit of the purchase is immediate, while the ethical cost is distant and abstract. Social validation reinforces the cycle. If everyone you know wears them, the ethical questions feel less urgent, less personal. We constantly weigh style against ethics, and in the heat of the moment, with a limited drop, style almost always wins. The interface is designed to keep the ugly truth one swipe away, so you never have to look at what makes you uncomfortable. Cognitive dissonance is the state of mind where we ignore facts to protect our feelings, and Nike relies on this mental fog.
We choose not to hear because listening would require us to change, and change is inconvenient when you want the new Air Jordans. Our hearts are hardened by the constant barrage of desire. We have learned to separate the product from the process. It starts young. The conditioning begins before we even understand what money is or what labor means in the global economy. The brand is a cultural force, and resisting it feels like resisting culture itself. That is the power of the psychological hook. But emotions are not facts. To truly understand the scale of this issue, we need to look at the cold, hard numbers. Let's look at the 2026 data. It is not about villains in suits. It is about a machine that only knows growth. We're going to strip away the marketing and look at the math, because the numbers tell a story that no ad campaign can hide.
Point 1. The wage gap. In Vietnam, a key production hub, the legal minimum wage is currently about $190. But the living wage, what it actually costs to have a dignified life with food and shelter, is north of $350. Nike's average factory wage sits around $250, better than the legal minimum, but still traps workers in poverty. This gap creates a dead zone where savings, healthcare, and education for their children simply cannot exist. It is survival mode. Workers are fueling the global economy while barely fueling themselves. This is the math that keeps the shoe price stable for you. Point 2. The speed trap. In 2026, microtrends move at light speed, and the demand for new styles is relentless. If a shoe goes viral on Friday, the algorithm demands 1 million pairs by Monday to capture the market before the trend dies. This creates massive pressure waves where factories are forced to mandate 60-plus hour weeks to meet the algorithm's impossible demands. Human fatigue is the fuel for fast fashion. The speed of the trend is directly paid for by the exhaustion of the worker. Mandatory overtime becomes the norm, not the exception, where the deadline is God and the workforce is the sacrifice on the altar. The system is running hot, and safety protocols are often bypassed when the shipment needs to leave the dock by morning. Point 3. The sustainability paradox. Nike produced 1.2 billion pairs of shoes last year alone. Think about that number. You cannot sustainably produce 1 billion of anything. The sheer volume negates any small gains made by using better materials. Using recycled plastic is like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. It looks better for the camera, but the bleeding continues. Most of these shoes will end up in landfills, releasing microplastics for centuries, while the production cycle is a linear path to trash. The system is meticulously designed to keep the price at the register low and the profit margin at the headquarters high. The difference is paid for in human fatigue. It is an extraction of energy from the poor to fuel the lifestyle of the rich. Behind every data point is a person who woke up before dawn and will work until after dark to make your shoes. Even with automation, the human hand is still the cheapest tool available for the most detailed work. That is the tragedy. The financial reports celebrate efficiency, but efficiency in this context is just a euphemism for squeezing more out of less. It takes a worker nearly a month to earn enough to buy a single pair of the high-end shoes they assemble daily. The cycle never stops. As long as we keep clicking buy, the gears keep turning and the pressure keeps mounting. This is the raw truth. Uncomfortable, ugly, but the reality of the world we have built. We cannot pretend we do not know anymore, because the information is out there, and the question is, what do we do with it? That small tag inside your shoe carries a weight far heavier than the materials used to construct it. They are the invisible engine of our culture, and for too long we have been content to let them remain invisible. When the trend fades and the shoe is discarded, the cost to the worker and the planet remains permanent. The math is clear and the system is broken, but recognizing the break is the first step toward fixing it. We have seen the darkness, now we must look for the light. Is there a way to change this massive machine? So is it hopeless? No. The hidden cost is starting to be taxed, and the world is waking up to the reality. In 2026, the EU's due diligence directive is finally biting. It is a game changer for corporate accountability laws. For the first time, brands are being held legally responsible for what happens 3 tiers deep in their complex supply chain. Nike is reacting because they have to. The risk of lawsuits and fines is now greater than the cost of fair wages. They are piloting living wage programs in 50 factories, not because they are nice, but because we stopped falling for the magic trick. The illusion of the cloud company is fading, We know that they are responsible, and we are demanding they act like it. The most powerful tool is not a boycott. It is friction, demanding to know the story behind the product. Real transparency illuminates the hidden costs. Transparency forces the system to correct itself by turning the lights on in the dark corners where exploitation thrives. Investors are watching too, because ethical risks are now financial risks, and the smart money is moving toward cleaner supply chains. This shift can change lives, where real wages mean better food, education for children, and a future that is not just survival. The movement needs proactive action from consumers. We are at a turning point where the era of blind consumption is ending and the era of conscious choice is beginning. You have a role in this. Your wallet is a vote, and every time you spend, you're casting a ballot for the world you want. We can build a system that respects both the athlete and the maker. It is not a fantasy, it is a necessity. Next time you encounter a limited drop, ask yourself what costs the system bears. A moment of hesitation can change your shopping habits. The checkout is just the beginning. Demand the full invoice. I am your host. Thank you for watching. Your decision: keep scrolling or start asking questions. Want more deep analysis? Hit subscribe. Stay curious, stay critical, and never stop looking for the truth behind the price tag. See you next time. Hidden costs, revealing the true price behind everything.